Welcome to Reading and Writing Between the Lines, a podcast series about communication skills in the workplace. I'm your host, John Witzman. Join me as I speak with industry professionals and Conestoga faculty and alumni to explore their journeys with reading and writing skills. Follow us as we talk about how communications learning has changed over the years, how these skills are used in a wide range of industries, and the future of workplace communications.
So when I'm interviewing, and our company's really growing. So I think I was employee number 70 2 years ago, and we're at 130 now. So kind of rapid growth.
Yeah.
So we're doing an awful lot of hiring. When somebody is too rambly in their interview, they're probably not going to make it to the second round.
Okay.
I can tell when somebody has prepared ahead of time to structure an argument,
Right.
which is what an interview is. It is an argument that you are a worthy candidate in different areas. You can tell when somebody's thought processes and their way to articulate why they are a good candidate, their answers to the questions,
right,
whether they're good or whether they're weak. And if somebody's all over the place and can't make a point,
right,
I'm going to discount them.
Do you ever see people come into an interview with paper and pen and making notes as they go?
It's all virtual.
Okay.
So I haven't seen that specifically, but I can tell when they've prepped.
Right.
But it's not about preparation. It's about how do they articulate clearly and with a point.
Yes, on the fly, taking in the question, going through the steps of here are all the things I could talk about. Let's get rid of those three. I've got these three things left. What order do I line them up in?
Yep.
What are the things that I can say to connect those dots?
Yep.
Go.
Yeah. What's your point of view?
Yeah.
And now how do you support that?
It's making me wonder what the interviews you're doing now would look like stacked up against the interviews that you did along the way. Obviously, they would have been in person and not over Zoom, but do you feel like those skills were the same skills that were sort of being sought after or being looked for in those job interviews that you did along the way? No.
I think back in the early part of my career, there was a focus on the tools that you knew.
Interesting.
I remember still the number of words per minute you could type was a thing.
Wow.
That's really no longer the case. In my tech writing phase of my career, one of the main software tools kind of in the industry was FrameMaker.
Okay.
And then RoboHelp was a type of software that was used to kind of create the online version of that. WebWorks was another. Anyways, these would be questions in the interview, like what is your level of proficiency with these tools? Honestly, John, I don't care. When I am interviewing a candidate now, I assume that the generation hitting the workforce can handle software tools.
Yeah.
I think that they can learn it very, very quickly. I want to know, can they think? And can they take those thoughts and present them clearly?
Right.
So that tends to be much more my focus of my interview questions, not do you know Microsoft Word?
Right.
And Salesforce is one of our big tools as well. I can teach you that stuff, and I'm not worried about that at all. But can you articulate clearly and create a connection with your audience? Because that's the mark of success for the CSMs, the customer success managers that we're hiring.
And that marks the end of another episode of Reading and Writing Between the Lines, a podcast hosted by me, John Witzman, on behalf of the Communications Department and School of Interdisciplinary Studies at Conestoga College. You can find other episodes of this series on our YouTube channel, Reading and Writing Between the Lines. Stay tuned for more episodes. Thanks for listening.